So, Sean, turning to Ukraine, Zelensky's having trouble getting money and additional support, blockages in America with politics, etc. So he's up the ante, and he said something like, Russia, if you don't come and help me further, Russia is going to swallow Europe, not just Ukraine.
Yeah, it's had a few headlines this week, and of course, when you look at it through the lens of some of the military leaders in this country have been saying we're walking blind into a third world war. We need to be better prepared. Zelensky, understandably, is trying to up the rhetoric because if he doesn't get the weapons, things are looking very bleak for him. The only place you can actually get weapons at short notice is America. That's the only stockpiles. $60 billion worth of aid is stored there. So he's decided to up the rhetoric. The trouble is that's a double-edged sword, because if you now turn around and say, right, Germany, right, Poland, right, France, you'll get swallowed up if we don't win. I've just increased my defence budget in Poland to 3.5%. Am I A, going to spend that and give it away to Ukraine, or I'm going to bolster my own defences? And therefore the danger is actually that nations say, actually, you're right, Zelensky.
Counterproductive.
Well,
Possibly.
Now, there are other ways in which the West hasn't yet explored fully supporting Ukraine. We talked about the other week, potentially Macron talked about boots on the ground. It's not about the boots, it's about that would allow much better weapons to be put in. And likewise, no-fly zones. I think that's something that would be incredibly powerful. I accept that that's fraught with risks, but up bluntly, there has to be a debate at some time about at what point is that risk better to take that or not. But that's led to Cameron going out, Lord Cameron going out to America, which you spotted this week, some of the rhetoric around that.
Yeah, and we saw that at the beginning. So Lord Cameron is the UK Defence Secretary. Has been parachuted in from the House of Lords, not an elected member of Parliament. Interesting enough, he's gone out to shake hands with Donald Trump. And what's going on is he recognising that Trump may well become president, so he's got to cozy up to him. He's eating humble pie. What is Cameron actually trying to achieve by his visit?
I think his remarks are divisive, stupid and wrong, and I think if he came to visit our country, I think it'd unite us all against him.
Obviously, behind closed doors, who knows, but at face value, the $60 billion of aid is being blocked because Trump wants more money to be spent on domestic defence and therefore is blocking it. That's frustrated Biden. So in a way, Lord Cameron's gone out to try to persuade Trump to relent. I'm not entirely sure how, given the rhino skin that Trump seems to have, whether or not, some little Brit politician wambling over there and asking him to be nice to Ukraine, I don't quite know what difference that's going to make at all. But in a way, you've got to admire the fact that at least somebody's trying to unlock. But do I hold out any hope that that diplomatic visit will suddenly unlock $60 billion worth of aid to Ukraine? I don't.
David Cameron's had something else in his head, and I don't think ever in the history of this man has anybody ever referred to his geographical movements as wombling. But I think appropriate maybe. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing over there. Half of me thinks there's something about him and his future. But as you say, Trump will make up his own mind for good or bad.
I think that for me, the worry here, from again grand strategic perspective, is that you're now in President Putin's mind. You've got the weapons, you're on the front foot, Ukraine is going to struggle this coming summer because there aren't going to be weapons come unless America relents or unless the West suddenly decides to step in and put boots on the ground or a no-fly zone. So you're going to threaten Armageddon against the West if they even suggest that, because that would be strategic failure. And if I was Putin now, I'd be going, right, I'm going to press on, go as far as I can with my special military operation this summer. When it comes to the winter and I have to draw stumps and pause, there's probably going to be a new president. And at that point, I know Trump will want to look good by negotiating an end to this. Putin will probably run out of steam anyway by then. So what will Putin want? He could well turn around to Trump and say, doors are closed now. This is not public conversation. And I'm happy to call an end to the war. And you're going to look good because you're going to negotiate the end to the war, which nobody else wants. But what I want to do that is I don't want Ukraine to be allowed to join NATO because that will be a threat on my doorstep. I want all the sanctions that have been put against me to be lifted, and then I'll stop the war. Where is President Zelensky in all that conversation?
A pawn, I would say. If Churchill can lose the election straight after the war, after winning the war, Second World War, for Britain and the world, then Zelensky, who might appear as something of a hero, could easily lose it all. And he'd have to be subject to whatever the terms were. And I mean, the only thing in what you've said, you forgot his wife shopping in Paris, by the way. The only thing that he can take back home from that, really, is the NATO argument. That it needs selling well to his people, but that might seem like a win, but it's not a very big one, is it?
Depends who you look at. I think from Putin, he'd strut around going, it's been absolutely worth it.
Yeah, because this was my thing all along.
I was only ever a
Going
special
way
military
back.
operation. I've now secured Crimea. I've solved the war in the Donbass,
Yeah, okay.
and I've got a land bridge. That's all I ever wanted to do, and I've succeeded.
Okay, Sean, so I vote for you. I think you should go into politics. Yeah, this will be one for you.
I thought you despised politics. I've now
Well, I despise
crossed the
politicians.
Rubicon now.
I don't despise, but I'm suspicious of politicians. Politics is what makes the world go round.
No, I agree. My worry about all of this, though, is that, again, it's about the egos of individuals. Trump wants to be seen to do a deal. My worry is there may be a deal to be done, but actually the very fact that he's talked publicly about the fact that there could be a deal to be done, I think might empower Putin to just keep pressing.
Yeah.
It marginalises Zelensky, and the question is that it may be that part of that deal is that Zelensky has to give up a load of land, but doesn't actually have a say in the conversation.
The future.
And that I think is, I mean,
Quite possible.
I'm sure there's lots of people going to be watching this criticising that, but it's just a possible outcome. And you can start to see things lining up that way, and that would be, in my humble opinion, it would reward Putin for his aggression. It would embolden him for the future. And goodness knows what message that China would take when it looks at Taiwan through that lens.